This is Barry Brenton. I'm just checking to make sure I'm recording. I think I am. Studio move. Okay. Just bear with me. Okay, yeah. Okay, I just had to make sure that I'm recording, that I'm using the software correctly. Hi. If you've never seen me before, my name is Barry Brenton, and I make videos trying to help people get their CDL license. So let's just go through this material. What we have is the Commercial Driver's License Manual. This is the federal version. Right here. Okay. So you can download this. There will be a link in the description below. And I encourage you to also go get the CDL license. The CDL manual, for your state. So as you can see in this picture, they have CDL, which this truck here, this 18-wheeler, you would need a Class A CDL to drive that. And as far as the passenger bus and the school bus, you would need the school bus endorsement, obviously, and you would need the passenger endorsement with, back to the 18-wheeler, you would need to pass your general knowledge exam, combination vehicles endorsement, and you'd need your air brakes endorsement. And for the passenger bus, which looks like it's a coach, like greyhound or something, you would need a CDL. I think you could get by with a Class B. You would need passenger endorsement, and you would need air brakes, because those do have air brakes. So, and this is for the 50 United States. Canada and Mexico is not included. So I'm just going to scroll past all this stuff and get to the table of contents. So here we go, table of contents. That's going to be the 5th page. Let's take a look here. Okay, so we've got the introduction, which I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to look at the table of contents, so let's go back. Okay. Okay, right there. All right, so you have introduction, and that's section 1. Now what I want to do is move my picture here, so maybe make it smaller. Okay. Okay, so introduction, section 1. Right here, section 1, introduction. And section 2, driving safely. Section 3 is transporting cargo safely. Those three are what you need for the general knowledge. Now for the written part, that's what you need. Now for the skills test, you will need section 11, vehicle inspection. Section 12, basic vehicle control skills test. and Section 13, on-road driving. But just for the general knowledge exam for Class B and Class C, you will need Introduction, Section 1, Driving Safely, Section 2, and Transporting Cargo Safely, that's Section 3. And for Class A, you will also need to study Combination Vehicles, Section 6-1, and also Air Brakes, Section 5-1. All right, so let's go to Introduction. We'll just click on this, which will take you to that chapter or section. And there you are. So, Section 1, Introduction, is a relatively short section. Let's just scroll through it real quickly. It's 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages, 7 pages, 8 pages. So 8 pages for Section 1. That's not bad at all. Okay, so what do you have in Section 1? It tells you at the very first page what all is covered. So Section 1 covers commercial driver's license test. Let's see if we can increase the size of this. All right, that should do. So let me just move my picture somewhere else, maybe put it on the end. Here. And we'll... Okay. So what we have is Section 1, Introduction. The section covers commercial driver's license tests, also medical requirements, driver disqualifications, other safety rules, and the International Registration Program. So let's get to the first paragraph. There is a federal requirement that each state have minimum standards for the licensing of commercial drivers. So I guess what they're saying is there's a federal law, regulation, whatever, that says that each state must have minimum standards for the licensing of commercial vehicles. So let's get to the next paragraph. This manual provides driver license testing information for drivers who wish to have a commercial driver's license, CDL. This manual does not provide information on all of the all of the federal and state requirements needed before you can drive a commercial motor vehicle, CMV. You may have to contact your state driver's licensing authority for additional information, which is not a bad idea. Just a moment. Okay. Okay. So let's go back. Let's take a look at the third paragraph. Okay. You must have a CDL, commercial driver's license, to operate any single vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, of 26,001 pounds or more. A combination vehicle with a gross combination weight GCWR. Now that's the tractor and the trailer, because it says gross combination weight rating of 26,001 pounds or more, provided the GVWR, which is the gross vehicle weight rating of the vehicle being towed, is in excess of 10,000 pounds. So a gross combination vehicle with a gross combination vehicle rating of 26,001 or more pounds, provided the GVWR of the vehicle being towed, which would be the trailer, is in excess of 10,000 pounds. So remember, it's got to weigh 10,000 pounds or more. That's the trailer, the thing that's being towed. Next chapter, or paragraph, sorry. A vehicle designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver. So, in that regard, the driver can be considered a passenger, or it could be, let's just make it simple, 16 total occupants in the vehicle. All right, that's one of the requirements for CDL. So if you're in a bus and you've got 15 people, passengers, not including yourself, but you're the driver, you would need to have a CDL. But if you only had, say, 14 people that you were transporting and yourself, you'd be okay without one, according to this paragraph. Let's go to the next paragraph. Any size vehicle which requires hazardous materials placards. So it's hazardous material placards. Those are the triangular shape signs that you see on the side and front and back of vehicles transporting hazardous materials. So let's get back to that paragraph. Excuse me, I have to cough. I don't know if I can mute this thing. Oh, maybe I can. Thank you. Okay. Any size vehicle which requires hazardous material placards or is carrying material listed as a select agent or toxin in 42 CFR, that's Code of Federal Regulation, Part 73. Federal regulations through the Department of Homeland Security require a background check and fingerprinting for the hazardous material endorsement. Okay, so if you want to get your hazmat or hazardous materials endorsement, you're going to have to get the Department of Homeland Security, you're going to have to see that they receive a background check and your fingerprints, so that you can get that. So that says right here, contact your local Department of Driver Licensing for more information. That might be your DMV or something else, like Department of Justice or whatever it is. I think Montana, I'm not sure exactly what they call it. Okay, so your state may have additional definitions of CMVs. Okay, next paragraph. To get a CDL, you must pass knowledge and skills tests. This manual will help you pass the test. However, it is not a substitute for a truck driver training class or program. Formal training is the most reliable way to learn the many special skills required for safely driving a large commercial vehicle and becoming a professional driver in the trucking industry. Figure 1.1 helps you determine if you need a CDL. So now it says it will help you pass the test, plural. It says, but it's not, or however, it is not a substitute for a truck driver training class or program. Well, yes, but you could probably pass a test with the manual. So I know a lot of people spend a lot of money going to truck driving school, and they get some special training and using the equipment, but that's not the only way to get your CDL. So let's go to the next part. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up. Okay, so this is the figure 1.1, which says determining class of CDL required. So the first question is the GCWR, which is, remember, gross combination weight rating, so I believe that's both tractor and trailer because it's a combination. Is that 26,001 pounds or more? If it's yes, I'm going to pause the video because we've got some noisy neighbors. Just a moment. Well, it looks like they've already gone. All right, so if the answer is yes, and if it's a tractor trailer, it's going to be big enough that you're going to need, it's going to be a yes. So what's the next question? Is the GVWR, that's the gross vehicle weight rating of the trailer or towed unit, 10,000 pounds or more? So how much do one of those trailers weigh? Well, if it's loaded, it's certainly going to weigh over 10,001 pounds. I don't know how much an empty trailer weighs, but 10,000 pounds is roughly 5 tons. So is it a possibility that it could weigh 5 tons? Yes, I believe it is. And particularly if it's loaded, it's going to weigh more. So you've got a yes and a yes. So what does that tell you? That means you need a Class A license. Okay, so now, what if the answer is no? Is the gross combination the gross combination weight rating 26,000 or more than 1 pounds? Well, there's only one vehicle. If you're driving a bus, a tow truck, or a passenger vehicle, or a coach, or a municipal bus. That's not a combination, so it's going to be a no. So the next question is the GVWR, the gross vehicle weight rating of the power unit, 26,001 or more pounds? Well, if it's a school bus, a passenger bus of a municipal bus company, or a coach, or say a dump truck, the answer is going to be yes. So that's going to require Class B. Now the next question is, is the vehicle transporting hazardous materials in a placardable quantity? So enough hazardous material that would require that a hazardous materials placard, be attached or displayed on the vehicle. And if the answer is yes, then you need Class C. But it's going to be under 26,001 pounds. So now, if the question is if you're not carrying hazardous materials in any quantity which would require that placard be displayed on the vehicle, the answer is no. Now you need to ask the question, is the vehicle designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver? If the answer is yes, then you need a Class C. But remember, if the gross vehicle weight rating is 26,001 or more pounds, then you need a Class B. So it's based really, whether you need a Class B is based on the size of the vehicle. And if it's a passenger vehicle, it's probably going to weigh that much, if not more, particularly when you have it loaded with passengers. So basically, if it's less than 16, including the driver, then no CDL is required. So theoretically, you could, if your vehicle is of the certain size and you're only transporting, say, 15 people, including the driver, then you can get away without having a CDL. So let's get in and take a look at this, how they define the the gross combination weight rating. And for this, I'm going to need to adjust my picture. Okay, all right, so, for that I have to, okay, all right, so here it says gross combination weight rating, GCWR, what does that mean? It means the value specified by the manufacturer of the power unit if the value is displayed on the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards FMVSS certification label, or the sum of the gross vehicle weight rating GVWRs, or the gross vehicle weight GVWs of the power unit and the towed units, or any combination thereof. Just a moment. Okay, I just have to pause. The underlined and italicized text above is for use by the roadside enforcement only, for the purpose of determining whether the driver/vehicle is subject to CDL regulations. It is not used to determine whether a vehicle is representative of the purposes of the skills testing. Okay, so next paragraph, gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, means the value specified by the manufacturer as the loaded weight of a single vehicle. All right, so that's figure 1.1. It says right here also, note, a bus may be Class A, B, or C, depending on whether the GVWR is over 26,001 pounds or is a combination vehicle. Okay, so that's the end of page 1. Now, we have this, I guess you could say, 1.1 commercial driver's license test. So here we're going to go over the types of tests. Just a moment. Let's move this over here. Okay. All right, so what we have here is the knowledge test. That's 1.1.1 knowledge test. So remember your CDL license, you have two types of tests. You've got the knowledge test and you've got the skills test. So primarily, as far as this channel is concerned, we pretty much only handle the knowledge test because this is something that you can study on your own. Now, let's get the first paragraph here. You will have to take one or more knowledge tests depending on what class of license and what endorsements you need. The CDL knowledge tests include, now let's go over here, the general knowledge test taken by all applicants. The passenger transport test taken by all bus driver applicants. The air brakes test. Okay, I have to adjust my camera just a little bit so I get my picture in there. I have to apologize for my office here. It is basically it's an early afternoon, rather late afternoon. You've got kids running up and down the halls. There's nurses and whatever, psychologists. So they're not really particularly schooled on how to be quiet. I apologize for that. But let's get on with the next part. So we've got the passenger transport test taken by all bus driver applicants. Then you have the air brakes test, which you must take if your vehicle has air brakes, including air over hydraulic brakes. So, and you can, now you wouldn't be required to take it for hydraulic brakes, but you do have air brakes, and you have, including, this is another category, air over hydraulic brakes. So you have air in being used in connection with hydraulic brakes. Now, for the Class A endorsement, you need to take the the combination vehicles test, which is required if you want to drive a combination vehicle, as well as you need the air brakes test. Now, hazardous materials. Let's take a look at hazardous materials. Hazardous materials, remember we read something that said that you needed to go to the Department of Homeland Security and get a background check. And you also need fingerprints, so they're going to have to fingerprint you. But here it says the hazardous materials test required if you want to haul hazardous materials as defined in 49 CFR, that's Commercial Federal Regulations 383.5. In order to obtain this endorsement, you are also required to pass a Transportation Security Administration TSA background check. So they want to know your background. They want to know if you've got some sort of thing in your background that might make you ineligible to receive such an endorsement. Okay, so now the other one you have here is tank vehicle test endorsement. And you would need that in addition to your hazardous materials endorsement if you're going to be hauling some sort of flammable liquid, like liquid propane or gasoline. Now there's some videos on YouTube, particularly, which if I find I'll put a link in the description, about commercial vehicle drivers who drive gasoline trucks, and they make pretty good money. So something to consider. So basically, the tank vehicle test is required if you want to haul any liquid or gaseous material in a tank or tanks having an individual rated capacity of more than 119 gallons or an aggregate rated capacity of 1,000 gallons or more that is either permanently or temporarily attached to the vehicle or chassis. All right, so the doubles triples test. This is basically doubles triples. I have a video that goes over doubles, triples, and combos. The doubles triples test required if you want to pull double or triple trailers. So you've got the regular trailer, which has or tractor trailer, which has one tractor trailer. But if you want to have two trailers behind your tractor, or even three trailers behind your tractor, you would need to take the doubles and triples endorsement test. Now the next knowledge test that we have here is the school bus test, and this is required if you want to drive a school bus. So there's certain requirements for driving a school bus. So we can go over that later. Now let's go to the next part of this manual, which is 1.1.2 skills test. So the skills test is the part where you demonstrate your knowledge to an examiner, and you're not writing anything. You're just or clicking buttons. You're demonstrating your knowledge by showing it. So if you want to pass the required knowledge test, you can take the CDL skills test. These are three types of general skills that will be tested: vehicle inspection, basic vehicle control, and on-road driving. So again, we're talking about three tests that are skills tests. Number one, vehicle inspection. So that's vehicle inspection. You're in front of an examiner. You're showing what each component in the vehicle does and what to look out for, and also externally and internally. And you are also the next test would be basic vehicle control, which you're demonstrating how you control the vehicle, how you make a turn, how to park it, that sort of thing. And then the other one would be an on-road driving test, where you actually get on the road and drive in front, or you're driving with the examiner in the vehicle with you, and he's or she is monitoring your progress and asking you questions too. And they generally tell you where to drive. All right, so the next sentence here is, you must take these tests in the type of vehicle for which you wish to be licensed. So if you're going to be driving a school bus, you want to do the test on a school bus. If you're driving a municipal bus for a bus company, city bus company, you would be driving that type of bus. If you're driving an 18-wheeler, that's the type of vehicle that you'd be testing in. So any vehicle that has components marked or labeled cannot be used for the vehicle inspection test. And they want you to know what each component does. So if you're opening up the engine compartment and you don't know what a certain component is, or you have to look at a label that says, okay, well, that's the air brake pump or whatever, then that's not allowed. All right, so now going to the next paragraph, we have vehicle inspection. It says, you will be tested to see if you know whether your vehicle is safe to drive. So yeah, if you're going to be you need to know what are some potential pitfalls to look for. So the time to see if to spot something that's wrong with your vehicle is before you get on the road driving it. So let's continue with the next sentence. You will be asked to do a vehicle inspection of your vehicle and explain to the examiner what you would expect and why. All right, now the basic vehicle control exam or test. You will be tested on your skill to control the vehicle. You will be asked to move your vehicle forward, backward, and turn it within a defined area. So with me, they have a different facility where you take your commercial vehicles endorsement, your skills test. It's not at the normal regular place where you would get your normal driver's license. So they have a different location, and there's plenty of room there for you if you've got a large commercial vehicle to turn around in. So it's a place that's specifically designed for you to take the test. These areas may be marked with traffic lanes, cones, barriers, or something similar, and that is true. They will have cones, they will have lines painted on the asphalt, lanes for you to drive your vehicle in. So we're going to go now and go back up. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, now going on the next sentence. The examiner will tell you how to will tell you how each control test is to be done. And then finally, number 3, on-road test. You will be tested on your skill to drive safely or to safely drive your vehicle in a variety of traffic situations. The situations may include left and right turns, intersections, railroad crossings, curves, up and down grades, single, multi-lane roads, streets or highways. The examiner will tell you where to drive. So yes, you actually get into the vehicle, and in my case, the gentleman who was the examiner told me, okay, get in, let's go, head north, and then, make a left here. You give the signal, you turn. Now get on this on-ramp for the interstate. And my examiner actually had me pull over on the on-ramp and asked me a question about where would you put your emergency, the triangles, the emergency safety triangles, if you're stopped on the side of the road here. So I answered that question, and then we got back and drove some on the interstate, and then got off the next exit and did some more driving around. Figure 1.2 details which sections of the manual you should study for each particular class of license and each endorsement. So let me go ahead and move my picture here, so I can probably enlarge it. Okay. So we're going to scroll up here. So this chart is probably a little bit hard to read the way it is. I'm going to try to rotate it. All right, so let's rotate. We want to rotate it. We want to rotate it counterclockwise. All right, we're gonna decrease the size. Okay, so as you can see here, we have on the top. Oh, and I do have to make a change to this. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. So, all right. So now we have this this chart turned on its side. It's figure 1.2. What to study. So we have it broken down into two groups. There's a line that says endorsements here on the top part. Now those, you see, there are 5 endorsements. Now this doesn't include air brakes, which I consider an endorsement, but it's not listed here as one of the endorsements. You've got school bus, passenger, tank vehicles, double, triple, and hazardous materials. Now, then you have the license types, Class A on the bottom, class above that Class B, and above that Class C. So if you look on the Class A license, and you have to, in your mind, turn the numbers on right side. They're on their side now, but Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, that's going to be, Section 1 is your introduction, Section 2, driving safely, and Section 3, transporting cargo safely. So yes, you're going to need to take study all of those. If you're going to be studying double and triple for your endorsement, you need to study basically you'll need to study you just go horizontally. And one of the problems I have with this software I'm using, I have to figure out how to capture the mouse, and I'll have to do that later. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video or stop the video here, and we're going to come back, and hopefully I'll have that thing fixed. That'll be in the next video. We'll study this figure 1.2 because it seems to it seems it's very important to know this stuff here um, as for what to study. So we will come back. Let's see, this video has been going on now for 42 minutes. Can you believe that? So, and I'm trying a new format here, which is just we are going over the material, and we're just trying to get this do something different here that is hopefully more helpful to you. I would encourage you to get your CDL manual for whatever state you are in. Also, get a copy of the federal manual because that's what I'm using. Because they're all basically the same. They're all based on this federal manual. Now, yes, there are areas that are different with the state CDL manual, and they usually have a state-specific section in your CDL manual that goes over that material. So, just a second. I have to get used to doing this. Okay, so studio. Okay, all right, that's better. All right, so I think that covers it pretty well. In section 1, remember, section 1 pretty much tells you about the exams, tells you what you need to study. Is it a knowledge test or is it a skills test? And based on what you want to, what type of commercial vehicle that you want to be driving, that's the one you're going to need for your on-road test. So that's what you need to be studying for. So a lot of people ask me, they'll say, well, what do I need to study? Well, I come back as it depends on what you're intending to drive. Are you intending to drive an 18-wheeler? Are you intending to drive a truck hauling gasoline? Are you intending to drive a propane truck? Are you intending to drive a a municipal city bus? Are you intending to drive a school bus? Are you intending to drive a greyhound or a coach bus? these are all things you have to know before you, I think, take your exam. With me, I wanted to to drive a school bus, so I had to take get my general knowledge exam Class B. I had to get the school bus endorsement and the passenger endorsement. Now, luckily, the school bus had hydraulic brakes, so I didn't have to get my my air brakes. But the company that I worked for had they also had coaches like greyhound, so um, I would have needed to get my air brakes if I wanted to drive a coach. So that about covers this part. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just go ahead and leave a comment in the video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. So thank you very much. Bye now.